Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Yeah, baby. I'm surprised you didn't start with this because let's be honest, this was the game of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, little bit of divisional rivalry, sir. Oh, suit you, sir. Oh, little bit of the old AFC North, sir. Oh, suit you. Oh, big time Ravens offense, sir. Oh, big time Steelers defense, sir, and offense. Oh, Big Ben, massive ears, big unit ears, huge boy ears, massive boy, massive dong, sir. Oh, suit you, sir. That's going to be a regular thing.
Lamar Jackson, pick six. Oh, suit you.
Literally, right? I sat down, put Reds on. I was like, here we go. Fucking Scott Hansen's on my TV. I'm ready. 2 seconds in. Pick six, Lamar. I'm like, fuck you. That's exactly what I said he'd do. Shit. I was just going mental. I was like, pick six, that. Pick six, my anus. I was going fucking ape. Yeah, no, I will say one thing. Lamar Jackson, he held up well. But I'll tell you what did I say? His throwing game, he's not elite. I think he was something like, I think he only had 13 completions in this game. 2 touchdowns, great. 2 interceptions. He is mediocre at best if you can keep him in the pocket. He's mediocre, All these stats are padded by his, don't get me wrong, I've said this, if you put him at running back, he'd be fucking ludicrous. He'd get more yards. Imagine if him and Derrick Henry were on the same team at running back. It'd be fucking obscene, like 700 yards rushing every week.
Yeah.
Just like they have to lay turf every week because it would just be torn asunder. Be ridiculous. But I think he's so average. He's not an elite quarterback. He is an elite athlete. He is not an elite quarterback. There's a difference there. The Baltimore fans, fucking Steelers, I hate them. I don't care. Fuck off. Ultimately, Ray Lewis ain't around. He ain't going to shank me after he's won the Super Bowl, so you can just deal with it. As far as I'm concerned, I think Lamar Jackson is overrated. Do I think he's fantastic? Do I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league still? Absolutely, because his running legs are insane. He's Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner combined back there. And ultimately, you get a little bit of both, actually, because Wile E. Coyote was a bumbling buffoon. And technically, from a throwing standpoint, he's kind of a bit buffoonish. Makes a lot of mistakes. But from an athletic standpoint, he's definitely
I could see him, like, after that pick six, throwing up one of those signs that Wile E. Coyote would be like, oops.
But I'll tell you what, the key to this game was they stifled his rushing offense. He only got 65 yards. And I say only, but for him, he can get a lot more than that. That's where, for me, I think that's the key. And I don't think anyone's going to talk about that. You'll probably watch Thursday. They won't talk about that. They'll just say, oh, he choked or it wasn't clutch enough in the moments. He played okay, especially down the stretch. He was trying to keep him in it. I think his weapons, Dobbins, went off like mad. Like, he had a good time. Stats-wise, at least.
Dobbins and Edwards.
This is the Ravens in a nutshell. I love John Harbaugh. I think he's fantastic. But
better than Jim.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. It's like saying, I prefer eating a 2-day-old sausage as opposed to this big old plate of giant pigeon shit. So, it's not a massive combination at this point. And I know they were both in the Super Bowl. Shut up. But do you know what the problem with the Ravens is? It's all stats. It's all fancy numbers. There's a lot of sizzle, but there ain't no steak when it comes down to it, is there? There ain't. It's all numbers. Numbers. They're padding it. Oh, my God. Lamar Jackson had 2 billion yards rushing. Yeah, that's great. Most of it was running around the pocket, trying desperately not to get rogered by the steel gun. Like, just, sorry. I'm a Broncos fan. Everybody knows that. Like, but yeah, how can you argue with the Steelers right now? And they're 7-0. And they just went back-to-back against 2 most dangerous teams, arguably, in the NFL, at least, statistically. Or at least in the NFC. I think the Ravens flatter to deceive. I'd take Tennessee over the Ravens still, despite their couple of losses. There's a lot of teams in the NFC I'd definitely take over the Ravens. I think Seattle's got a better offense. I think that the Buccaneers are a much better complete team than they are. I would even, at a stretch, if they play at their maximum, I think the Packers could do them quite well. I think there's a lot of bad matchups for Baltimore, and it's all very well and good until you get to the playoffs. And the thing is, right, they can no longer rely on cleaning up this division like they used to, because the Steelers are now said, right, we've got our shit together. We've been building well. Mike Tomlin, surprise, most underrated and most underappreciated coach. I wonder how appreciated he would be if he was white. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. I ultimately think that Mike Tomlin is gonna his legacy will be one of the greatest to ever coach, but nobody will recognise that because he doesn't have as many Super Bowl chips as Brian Belichick. But he's just doing wonderful things here. And like I say, the Ravens can't rely on winning it anymore. Cincinnati's starting to click. The Browns are hanging around, not going away anytime soon. It's a very competitive division. Sorry, I've said this everywhere. I think the Ravens are massively overrated. I really do. Are they an elite level football team overall? Close, but they're certainly not. I can name 5 or 6 teams that I think would beat them and get to the Super Bowl before they would, whether it be AFC or NFC. And that ultimately says to me that you aren't good enough. I haven't even mentioned the Chiefs yet. So, and they humbled them something rotten on Monday night. So, like again, sorry, Lamar Jackson ain't turning up when it matters most. You can pad your records and get rushing touchdowns against teams like Washington and Cincinnati all you want, mate. But unless you can start throwing the ball to a relatively decent level, it doesn't necessarily have to be elite because of your legs, but it's got to be of a high standard. And I can name so many quarterbacks who throw the ball better than Lamar Jackson ever could. And until his arm improves to a point where it's accurate, it's not happening. Even simple little dump offs down the middle, to Andrews. It's just, he made them look difficult. Andrews is right in front of him, and he's thrown it either so far in front of him, slightly behind him. He hasn't got an accurate throw. He's got a bad arm, I think. Bad arm. So, yeah, Steelers, you must be happy. It just keeps rolling on, mate. You can't see them lose.
I'm just ecstatic.
They don't want to lose. They've got to that point. There's this old adage in sports of they don't know how to lose, and that's exactly what's happening here. And now, the 7-0, the only undefeated.
I'm worried that they're going to get too confident.
We'll see about that, won't we?
We got Dallas next week.
Yeah, and you'd expect that to be 40, 50-point blowout territory. But are they going to take the foot off the gas? Are they going
to
Dallas? Should we take it slightly easy?
And then the next week after that, we have Cincinnati.
Their schedule's easing up now. They've gone through one of the roughest parts of it.
It really is easy.
But Tomlin, I don't believe Tomlin would allow that from his players.
No,
He's
I don't.
A step on your neck kind of guy. I don't believe that's going to happen.
We've got Dallas, then Cincinnati, then Jacksonville, Baltimore again, but at home, Washington, Buffalo, Cincinnati again, Indianapolis, and we end with Cleveland.
Yeah.
So the only game that
your mic.
Shit, my bad.
There you go.
The only game that I could see us having an issue in, legitimately, it would be like the Buffalo or the Baltimore game. But we just beat Baltimore in Baltimore, which we've been having issues with. Beating Baltimore at home.
I don't think the Bills are good enough to beat you. I think you'll thrash them. I think if your running game gets cooking in that, it's going to be game over. I can't see the Steelers losing right now. I really can't. I wouldn't be surprised if they went completely undefeated.
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing. It's always cool to see one team do it. It's always cool when it's not who you'd expect, like the Pats or something like that. It's nice to see a different team doing it. And the Steelers, they're a very famous franchise, one of the original founders and everything that goes with it. But at the same, what are you doing? So funny trying to talk through it while he's trying to fucking sort. They should have that 10. What is he doing? He's now stripping. Great. All right, get your clothes off. It's NFL time, baby.
Oh hell yeah!
With that black gear on and the attachment, you look like one of them French piste artistes, you Philistine, you do not appreciate my art. I should eat some onion soup, you bastardo. That's how it looks like right now. It's quite funny. Steelers. 7-0.
Yeah. 7-0. And you know what? If we
9 games to perfection.
If we can beat Baltimore
regular season
at home, if we can beat Baltimore, I'll have no problem saying that we'll go undefeated for the rest of the year.
That's your last big test, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't see the whole schedule, but right now I'm thinking that must be your last big test.
Buffalo and Baltimore are the two teams that are right now.
Buffalo. Don't trust them. I watched them again today. Don't trust them.
Yeah.
Next.
But next.